If you've been running ads on Facebook or Google or any of these ad platforms, you have probably wasted a ton of time setting up reports and doing spreadsheets. I know when I first got started running ads for clients, I wasted a ton of time setting up reports because we had reports for our clients, I had reports for us, and I didn't know anything about automation or spreadsheets or formulas and all that stuff. So it just took me hours every single month to get this done. Now I can confidently say this takes about 1 minute a month. It's really as simple as just like duplicating this tab and updating this date range. And then you can see the formulas just take care of everything else. So I didn't have to do anything. Update this name down here, and then like we're good to go for month 3. Really as easy as that. We've also been able to build some really cool dashboards like this that break everything down by week, by month. We've been able to build some really cool reports to track creatives. And what's really cool is we can pull in data from different data sources. So we're not just relying on Facebook ads to get accurate data. As you probably know, like Facebook ads, Google ads, these tracking platforms are not that accurate. So what's really cool is we can get all the ad data and like how the ads are doing from the ad platforms, but then we can pull in leads, sales from our CRM. We can pull in, if we're like booking calls for the sales team, we can book in how many calls we booked from this calendar. If we're getting applications, we can book in how many applications we got from the application software. So it's like we can really tie all these things in together and make a really, really accurate clear reporting for ourselves. Now, it's also super cool. Now with ChatGPT, we don't even have to know how to do these formulas. So when I used to do this years ago, I'd be in forums, like posting around, trying to help get formulas to do this kind of stuff. Now ChatGPT can spit it out in like 30 seconds. So I'm gonna show you how to do that too. And if you hang out to the end of the video, I will even just give you my templates for this. So you can have the dashboards that I've built and the spreadsheets that I've built for our clients so that they have like a simple reporting that's not confusing for them and shows them what they need to know. And then like our in-depth reporting that we use for media buyers that gets into all the geeky numbers and has charts and all that kind of stuff. So first things first, all of this is done with just simple spreadsheets and a tool called SuperMetrics. SuperMetrics is just like a little API tool. It pops up here in your extensions. And what this allows you to do is pull in data from different data sources, and they've got hundreds of different connectors that they use, and then bring that into the spreadsheet so that you can then use that data with formulas and different stuff like that. What I like about it is it's really flexible. So I can't tell you how many times in the last couple of years we've tried moving over to dashboards like Google Data Studio, Looker Studio, stuff like that. What I always find is like they're just not as flexible as we need. So especially with ad campaigns, it's like we've got new funnels that are launching, new offers, different initiatives that are coming out, and we need to be able to quickly create reports and build in like some insight on just that simple thing that we've done. And I found that every time we need to do that with like a Looker Studio sort of thing, a data studio, like a dashboard, it just became really challenging to do that. And we'd always end up back in spreadsheets. So still to this day, I just build everything in spreadsheets. I just find it more flexible and more useful for us. Again, SuperMetrics is a tool that powers most of this. We also use some Zapier a little bit. So I'll show you how and when we use that. But most of this is just done by SuperMetrics. And if you want to follow along, I've got a free trial that you can get down in the description for SuperMetrics. I've also got this template for this spreadsheet that you can grab down there as well. So grab your free trial to SuperMetrics if you don't have one already. Grab your template and let's follow along and build all this stuff out. Now, in order to get things started, what we're just going to do is build like a super simple report. This would be like an example of a client-facing report that we would give. So clients really like it when they can have an updated report that shows them every single day. They can see how things are spending and what they're getting for the money that they're spending with you guys. And so we build this report, we automate it with SuperMetrics so that they always have an updated report every single day. We don't have to touch it except for that one time at the end of the month when we do that quick little 30-second process where we duplicate out the tab, change out the dates, and it updates the rest of the reporting. Now, I would say the biggest thing that I have figured out with this, and the most important thing, is as you're building these out, what you want to do is make sure that each data source has its own tab of data. So you can see down here in this example, I've got like 3 different tabs. I've got our Facebook data, so we can see how the ads are performing, but this is going to be based off the Facebook pixel. So it's going to have leads and sales based off the Facebook pixel. I've got some CRM data. So I've got like, this is what our CRM is saying. So in this example, you know, we're using Kajabi. So it's like, okay, how many leads are we getting in Kajabi? How many sales are we actually getting in Kajabi every day? And then in this example also too, I've got like some calendar data. So we can see like, okay, if we're booking calls on the sales team calendar, what would that look like? How could we figure out how many calls we're actually getting every single day using something like this? So first thing first, how do we actually use SuperMetrics? So once you get your free trial for SuperMetrics and you get that set up, it's going to pop up here in your extensions, and you're going to download it into your extensions, whatever the prompting kind of shows you how to do. And then it's going to open up this little sidebar. And the sidebar is where you can make all your magic happen. So what we want to do is create a new query. And you can see I've already got our Facebook account set up here, but like there's so many things you can connect to. Stripe, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, GA4. We used to do a lot of GA4 until before they were GA4. Now we use GA4 less, but that's a really good way to integrate data. You can see you've got tons of different connectors here, so you can pull in important data from all these different places. You can automate that, and then you can start to build these kinds of reports and dashboards. So we're going to use our Facebook ads. We're going to pick an account. So you can see I've got tons of accounts here. This is really helpful for like, especially if you're using multiple accounts for one business for any reason. So we've had clients where we've got multiple accounts running for one business. You can pull them all up in here, and that's really helpful. And what we're going to do is just pick a date range. So like, let's just go ahead and pick for, like starting this year. And then when the end date is, you can actually just type in certain dates. So like you can just type in yesterday. And what this will do is every time this automatically runs each day, it will pull all the data from yesterday. I find that yesterday is the best date range to do. If you do today, what's going to happen is like when it updates at 3 o'clock in the morning, or whenever you set it to, it's going to like update a little bit of data for today. So I always just use yesterday to have clean data. Then this is where we want to like pick in our metrics. So what do we want to pull in? So, you can see in this example data that I've got here on the left, like I've got our cost, our reach, our impressions, CPM, link clicks, CPC, click-through rate, website leads. So I can just pull all these in, website registrations, purchases, do website purchases. You can see I just go through here and pull these in. One tip I would give you is what I have found is the best thing to do with any of these reports is get the hard numbers from this query pool. And then as you go to build your formulas for stuff like CPM, click-through rate, CPC, all that stuff, build that with formulas based off of that in your sheets. So like in this example right here, CPC, I've got a formula here. The reason why is because like that can just get weird if you're trying to like sum or average over time, and the numbers just don't come out exactly like you want them. So, but at the end of the day, it's like, let's just dump all the data we could possibly need in here and then go through from there. So split by dimensions, this one is really, really powerful to understand because in this super simple example, we're just pulling by date. So we just have date by row here. But notice what we could also do is we could do this by campaign. We could do this by ad name, ad set name. We could do this by creative. We could do this through all kinds of stuff. And what that gives us the ability to do is build really cool reports where we can break down like what are the best creatives in the account, what's the best ad copy in the account, all of that kind of stuff, because we're able to do these different splits. So yeah, I do fetch to rows. I just kind of max it out, sort rows, all of that is fine. Again, here with filters, we're not going to use this right now, but this is also really powerful because we could filter by campaign name. So imagine we could just use pull the data for like a specific offer. If we've got that offer in the campaign name and our naming conventions, we could pull that in. If we just want to do a specific like top of funnel, bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, we want to exclude retargeting and only look at cold traffic. Like all of those things we could do by just putting a filter on the campaign name. So yeah, campaign name contains tofu, or campaign name contains prospecting, or campaign name contains whatever your offer name, whatever that is. This becomes a really powerful filter to be able to use. And then for options, just a couple of things that I have found. Keep previous results on refresh error. This is just because every now and then Facebook throws an error and it needs to refresh again. This just keeps it from deleting all your data, and then also just show all time values, so it just comes out that way. So once you have this, you're just going to hit get data, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull all this data into your spreadsheet. One really important thing to note right here is like, notice this says data will be inserted into cell A1. That's because I'm selected at cell A1. If while you were setting this up, you just accidentally clicked over here, now it's going to start your data at D11. That's not what you want. So just make sure you're up here in the corner and then click data, get data. I already pulled in a bunch of data that we can use for this reporting example, but like you're going to click data, it's going to run for a couple of seconds, and then you're good to go from there. And again, what I just showed you is Facebook data, but like we could also do this for Stripe. So we could pull our Stripe payments in, or like we're using Kajabi here. So we've got some Kajabi data. There's a lot of really cool, powerful stuff we can do. And again, the biggest trick I have found is just you want to have one tab for each data source. Just think about like you're dumping your data into these tabs that you're going to use later. It's way, way more helpful than what I used to do way back when, was just try to build the reports here. that would take a really long time. Makes this really fast. The very last thing we're gonna do before we like get started doing anything is we wanna set this up to refresh every single day. So again, once you created your query, what you're gonna get is you're gonna see this little SuperMetrics query pops up, and these are all your queries that are like saved on your spreadsheet. So every time this runs as an automation, it's just gonna come to this tab and it's gonna like run through these and refresh them. And so what you just wanna do is come here to SuperMetrics, launch sidebar, manage queries. And so once we get this query tabs up, we're just going to set this up so that it automates and it runs every morning. So I have this run at, like 5 o'clock every morning or whatever it is, so that once I wake up and I go check my reporting, it's all there. Again, the only other tip I've got is like, keep in mind where you are compared to where the account is. So like if you're in the East Coast or you're in Europe, but your account's in Pacific time, I would just make sure that it's set up so that it runs after midnight in wherever the account is set up. And then after that, you should be good. Once this pops up, what we're going to do is just go to this automatic refresh. And again, you just want it to refresh daily. At what time? Again, like I'm over here in Europe. So if this account's specific, I need to be a little bit later in the day. Again, if you're in Eastern time zone and your account's in Eastern, I would do like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you just click create refresh. And then what this is going to do is just refresh this spreadsheet every single day. And that's what's going to keep all of your data up to date. Now, onto how to actually like build the spreadsheet. So I'm just going to clear this out so we can just look at this data and build this out. So the most important formula that you need to know is, and this is like really valuable for any spreadsheet to know, is called VLOOKUP. So what VLOOKUP is going to do is it's going to go look for this data in a different tab, and it's going to find this data in a column and bring this here. So basically what we want to do, here's this little formula. And again, if you ever have any issue with this, just go to ChatGPT and tell it exactly what you want to do. It'll shoot out the formula for it in half a second. So ChatGPT is like your best friend with anything you ever want to build with spreadsheets in the future. But what we're going to do, we're going to tell it basically like, hey, I want you to look at this date range. And then I want you to go to this tab of Facebook data. Now, one trick that I like to use actually is what's called a named range. So that just basically means like, instead of having to highlight this every time, what you can do is come in here and you can create a named range, and you can see like if I just type in data Facebook, that calls that whole spreadsheet. So if you get wide or long or anything, it just makes it easier. So end of the world. Moving on. Back to what we're talking about. Date. Where are we pulling this data from? We're pulling it from the Facebook tab. What column should we go look in this from? So this is the one thing you need to know with VLOOKUPs is you just put a number. So basically, column 1, A is 1, column 2 is B here. So like our ad spend is in column B. So I'm saying I want you to go look in the second column, and when you find this date, just send me that data and put that here. And the answer is false. I don't remember why it's false. But you can see what it just did was it just went to this date range. Just found this date. So 2-1. There it is. Our spend should be $102. And there it is, $102. So we're good there. Now I'm just going to take this exact same formula. I'm going to copy this out. I'm going to go find my clicks. So my clicks is not in column 2 anymore. My clicks is actually in column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my clicks is actually in column 6. So I'm going to put that right there. How do I get the formula for my CPC? That is my spend divided by my clicks. And the one thing we're gonna do, I forgot about this part. We're also gonna wrap this in if error. So this just makes our spreadsheets pretty, and we like pretty spreadsheets. So what we're gonna do is just set that up. Again, the nice thing about this, as I'm walking you through this and you're seeing this, you only have to ever do this once. Once you have this set up per spreadsheet, it's pretty much done. And I'm setting this up with you to kind of show you how it all works and show you how the formulas and stuff. I have this all templatized, and it'll be in my template that is down below in the links. So like, I don't have to set this up anymore, which is really nice. So we're going to do if error. We're going to do a VLOOKUP. And then what we're going to look up is, again, we're looking for this date range in the data for Facebook. The column, I want to find my leads. So I could use this right here. So I could use the Facebook leads, but actually what would be even better is if I pull my CRM data. So again, I just go to CRM, and I had already created that named range. So if you haven't created a name range, you'd have to create a name range, or you could just use this, click right there and use the whole thing. But again, now I'm back to column 2 inside of my CRM data. So I'm going to go column 2 and And so now we can see I'm actually pulling more accurate data because instead of pulling Facebook data, I'm now pulling my data straight from my CRM, which is really nice. And then again, and just a formula. This is what I was saying with like calculated formulas. So I do find it's better to calculate these things. I do find it's better to calculate these things instead of actually trying to like use a formula to average them, because again, it just makes it kind of weird. And so again, I'm going to go back to here. I can just actually copy paste this. And where's my sales data? My sales data is in my data CRM, and it's in 1, 2, 3. So I'll just use the third one. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that right there. This is my sales. And that gives me my CPA. And I can actually pull my sales revenue right here. So again, I can actually just copy and paste this formula, and my sales revenue is actually going to be one more column over. So it's going to be 4 instead of 3. So I'm going to drop that in there right there. And there we go. That's my spend and all of this for the day. Now, this is a really cool part is all I need to do to get this filled out is, again, just drag this down. Boom, we're good to go. The whole spreadsheet's done. And again, for next month, let's pretend like I don't have this yet. At the end of the month or on the first day of the month, when everyone, usually does reporting in the agency world, or if you've got an social media marketing agency, or you do this for yourself, or you do this for a client or your boss or whoever it is, you just come up here, hit duplicate. And then all I have to do is change this date to the next month. Pull this down. You can see here, we want to make sure that this last formula drags down. This is the only little tricky thing you got to do. If you've got like an extra row, you got to pull it down. Oh, it looks like we just don't have data there. The formula's there. So we're good. Double check that your sum data is ranging all correctly. And then like, boom, you're good to go. Let's call this month 3. That'd be nicer than copy of. And then for a nice little report, we can just come in here and connect this to this right here so that people have a nice little dashboard they can look at. And that's really nice for people to have. People appreciate like good, clean data, especially if you tell them like, hey, this is not built off of Facebook pixel data. We're actually going through the effort of pulling data from the right source. They will love you. They will love you a lot. And so again, we got that all set up. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just come in here and like hide this. Cause again, if this was like a client report, biggest thing I found with clients is like, you want to give them the data that they need to make decisions and nothing more, because otherwise you just confuse people. So here we go. Now we've got like a super easy to go automated dashboard, reporting spreadsheet on how to do this. And this will auto-populate the data from the next day, every single day. So we don't have to worry about it. And yeah, this is like a nice, clean looking report for you to give someone. Now, a couple of other like little bonus things I will show you, because this is where I think it gets really valuable, is like if you're a media buyer, you can do this exact same thing, but obviously we'd want more data. So here's an example of a report that we could do where now what we're also starting to do is pull in like CPM, CPC, click-through rate, click to lead, meetings booked, if we're booking meetings for a sales team, what's our lead to call percentage, call to close, all of that stuff. And even in this example, like we're running ads on Facebook, we're also running ads on Google. So we can pull in all of these different data sources. And again, just use our formulas and our date spreadsheets to do all of this. And then even over here, what I found to be helpful is like we will pull data from different platforms, put it all over here, and then we'll use formulas to just add these together, sum it up, if that's what we want to do. And these dates are just connected to this original date here again. So again, all we need to do if we want to duplicate this to the next month, duplicate it out, double click right here, update it to the next month, and then we're good to go. That's all we have to do if we want to update this one. Taking this one step further. So once you have all of this data in the spreadsheet, this is a really cool thing that you can build with this data, is start to build dashboards like this. So again, what we're doing is just pulling all of this data from these different tabs and pulling it in here as far as like what's our revenue from our CRM, how many meetings did we book, all of that stuff. For meetings booked, if we don't have a Zap that will connect with SuperMetrics, because we've had a few of those, we can actually just use Zapier for some stuff. So like we use Calendly for calls, and we will just have a Zap set up that what it does is it just pulls in that Calendly data into a spreadsheet. And so that could look, something like this, where we have our calendar data, emails, all the questions they answered, UTMs, all of that stuff. And then again, we can start to build formulas that just count how many of these we had in a day and then add that to our dashboard. These really cool things, little things here are called spark lines. So these are just like little visual trends you can put into dashboards so that they can kind of quickly scroll through and see what's going on. You can see this gets really, really valuable once we've done the hard work of just automating getting the data into the spreadsheet. Then from there, you can be super creative. We have built creative dashboards like this so that you can actually just kind of see really quickly which creatives you're running that are getting the highest click-through rate. This is, again, just a SuperMetrics query. And instead of filtering by date, we're filtering by ad creative. We've also built this by copy. So you can see here, this is just a SuperMetrics query with that exact same data. The only difference is instead of filtering by date, we're filtering by ad body here. And it's just pulling all the ad copy from our creatives and dropping it in here for us to do some analysis. And again, the cool thing is if you want to build some really cool dashboards, stuff like this, you don't really need to be really great at doing the formulas. You just kind of need to have an idea, you have a visual of what you want to do with it. And then you can use ChatGPT to come up with all kinds of formulas like this. So this is really, really powerful for you to be able to build stuff like this, automate your reporting, and just make things really visual and really easy for you so that you spend less time in these spreadsheets. Your reporting data is already there and you're good to go every morning. You open up your spreadsheet and you're ready to roll. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, remember that you can get a free trial of SuperMetrics and you can also get some of these templates down in the description below. So grab these. I hope they're useful for you. I hope you can spend less time doing reporting and just more time automating stuff, getting valuable insights with spreadsheets like these. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button because that really does help me keep putting out videos like this. And you can also check out this video here on YouTube because I think if you like this video, you'd probably find this one really valuable as well.